So I'm going to try my best to sort of rewind a little bit and maybe do a quick summary of what I was just chatting about before. So again, the slides on here is just to really inform you that pretty much we're here just to, like we've done for the last 6 workshops, just to provide general information so you can take it away and use within your choices around money, around what is it looking summer. And the focus for today is very much around Kiwi7 retirement. So I really hope by the end of tonight's session, I've been told that I've only got an hour. So I don't have an hour and a half that I usually have. So I've got to make sure my 40 rule is short and sharp. I've got people here on the time, on the clock watching. So I'll make sure that we get this done in an hour. But pretty much hopefully by the end of it, you understand a little bit more about Kiwi7, but also hopefully make some good choices around Kiwi7. What does it look and sound like? And also helping with your retirement. Retirement for everyone is around, depends how you look at it. Could be done, it could be further away, it could be not so far away. So really want to make sure across that journey path that you know where you're going, which is really important. And again, whānau, if you've got any part-time, pop it into the chat function. Any part-time here, if you are live with us today, pop your hand up, let me know. We'd love to hear your questions, we'd love to answer them. So hopefully by the end of today's workshop, you get to understand, understand the value, the basics of compound interest. Kiwi7 is one of those tools or products that will help give you, your compound interest. And actually, I was at a workshop today, and one of the workshop was that Albert Einstein used to have this great saying. Great saying, if I remember right, was Albert Einstein said that compound interest was the 8th wonder of the world. Also being the 8th wonder of the world, and he carried on the quote, and the quote was something along the lines like, if you understand it, you will earn it. If you don't understand it, you pay for it. You know what I mean? Because when you borrow money, compound interest is happening on the other side of that. When you're saving money and you understand it, it's working for you. So compound interest is a big friend. Kiwi7 is one of those tools or vehicles or products that are going to help you get there. And hopefully by the end of it, you'll hopefully make better Kiwi7 choices and stuff like that. Can I get the same one? Pretty much. Okay, here, I've got the same here from Sam. So compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. So hopefully that gives you a bit of food for thought around, man, if I actually save my money, I'm going to start earning some stuff on it. When you start borrowing money, that's when you start paying for it. And you got myself, you got Sam, you got Divya, and you got Rach who are here. But finally, we're going to jump straight into why do we need to think about retirement now? The graph that's on screen, and those who can see it online, really illustrates that we are living longer, right? From the 1950s to sort of 2022, we are living so much longer. There's a couple of factors, right? We've got more modern medicine, modern technology, eating healthier, all the foods, we understand the foods we're putting into our bodies. But the funny thing is that purple line is females and the green line is males. And I'm so sorry, Sam, we don't end up living longer than women. End up living longer than men. Amen, amen, amen. And that's true. That is a fact. The fact is right there. And on average, women live 3.5 years longer than men. So yeah, hallelujah to the woman in the house. So yeah, we appreciate you women. So yeah, us men. Sorry, mate. Try to be and stuff. But what's true is that we need to think about retirement, and 65 is the normal age, standard age you retire here in New Zealand. So if you think about living another 18 years, we'll set to 83, right? So it's another 18 years. Look figure out how long fun 18 more years without working and my retirement life, right? See, look, I'll give you last, and you're going, oh, what's going to happen, right? But that's the serious question. I did a workshop like this, very similar, and I asked one of the groups, and I said to the group, oh, what's your plan around retirement? And then someone said, my plan is that my kids are my retirement plan. Yeah. So today, retirement plan, mum is giving you, but it's interesting. And we're very fortunate, right? I've been in Mauri in Pacifica, right? We have a tendency to look after our elderly and our parents. We don't send them to the retirement homes they usually live with us. We usually maybe put them into another part of the house and stuff. I do feel sorry for my mum. She was actually put in the garage. My siblings came back home. So yeah, and now they switched back to mum being back in the house and my siblings in the garage. So, but it just shows right, what does it look and sound? And what are we going to do for that period, or those 18 years that are going to be a bit of a gap around how we want to live the lifestyle or live the retirement that we want to live. Now, finally, we're going to jump straight into an activity. So I want us to all grab our phones out. We can all grab our phones, and those online, you grab your phone, hold it right next to you. So we're going to do this activity. let's just say 65 is the age that you want to retire. If it's not 65, put in whatever age you think you might want to retire. It might be 50, it could be 45, but I really want you guys to put in the age. Use 65 as a sort of baseline. Put 65 in, let's your current age. Once you've got that figure, then you multiply by what your pay cycle is. So if it's fortnightly, you do 26. You need 26 pays in a year. If it's weekly, 52. If you get paid monthly, divide it, times it by 12. And then that's going to give you, yes, and that's going to tell you how many pays. And those online, pop in the number in the chat function. I'd love to see what that number is for whānau and stuff like that. And we'll get a bit of here are the live ones here with us in the audience. So Rich, Sam, what's your 754? So Sam's got 754 salaries. Wow, Livia's got 900. So and Prue, what do we got on yours? Oh, yes, 20. Okay, yep. Were you today?
85.
806, yep. And
we're born in the same year.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know it. Sorry, out of my mind.
Okay, So lovely mum here, she's got 208 salary before retirement. And what we got on the chat? Let's look at the chat. What we get? 243. So whānau, whether the number's 200, whether it's 400, whether it's 600, whether it's up to 800 and 900.
5,000.
Yeah, my youngest might have 5,000 salaries. 11-year-old lovely boy here, you'll have so many salaries before he retires. But what it does is changes your thought, changes your mindset. Instead of thinking on how many years do I have to retire, but actually how many salaries, how many pays do I need to figure myself out to make sure I'm setting myself up for good retirement. So really important to think about this. So Sam, you shop, how many salaries do you have left? I was quite surprised actually. So what ages? What ages?
I could say $13,000. I'd say $20 a pay. How much? $20? $20 a pay would be $13,000
Wow.
for my retirement.
Okay, yeah. And fun, I want you to do this exercise and those online and those who are live with us. Do this with your family and friends, right? Hey, let's not talk about years of retirement, how many years you have left. Let's talk about how many salaries you have. Just do this next time. Quick, easy, and get some other people talking. And hopefully just get you refocusing and go, shoot, I've only got that number of pays there. What do I need to do just to make sure I'm putting should I be putting away more into the future, or should I maybe start paying off more debt while I've got access to income? So all these things are important. Sorry, finance, the cost of retirement. Really important when you're thinking about the cost. And I'm just going to pop up here a couple of the sort of bullet points that I really want to sort of showcase. And one of the things I wanted to focus on was number 4. Will I have enough? That is right. The question is, will I have enough to retire? And I know originally from the first title was Kiwis have a retirement. We'll focus on retirement first, but really it's important to think about, will I have enough for retirement? And recently when I did this workshop today at another workplace, we talked about, will I have enough? And one of the things is that the Retirement Commission here in New Zealand, they talked about having two lifestyles when you retire. You have no frills, and then you have choices. And now with no frills is very much a basic type lifestyle, right? In retirement, things are easy, not going out too much. It's very basic. And what we sort of calculated was that if you, based on what you would need per week, and we did it in province and the metro setting. So if you're in the sort of metro being city seats like Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, when you're in the big cities, you need about sort of $500,000 for that 18-year period. We go back to that example of 65 retiring, living to 83, 18 years, you need about $500,000 in the city, and that's for one person. Then if it was living in the sort of suburbs or rural areas, thinking about maybe like Tikawiti, that was around sort of 340, say 350. So it just shows,
You're saying what? Is this like, so this is like current?
Current, yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah, so we saw some current numbers, there, but probably even a little bit more, right? If we look at inflation the way it is, and stuff like that. But it just brings into focus, like, you know, you need hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you probably I didn't even have anything close to that in my QB7 pound. And we'll probably talk a little bit about what that could look like. You might need to have different type of investments to get you to that point, or assets that are going to help you get to that magical number. But, you know, when we think about Mauri and Pacifica context, right, we're very fortunate to live with our kids. Live with our kids, potentially, so that cost could come down. Very finding that living with you guys. So that cost might come down, but it just shows that, right, a lot of money is required to live in retirement. So that's money, because that's a basic sort of no frill lifestyle. But you've got choices. So also choices lifestyle, that's usually when they have a few luxuries and a few treats. Maybe that's going on holiday, maybe that might be spoiling the corners and all those sort of good things when you get into retirement. Enjoying your hobbies, that might be a bit expensive. So really important, like my mother-in-law at the moment, she loves golf. She's a golf player. She's 70 something. She lives in Matamata, but her golf fees at the moment like $700. So she's asked her kids to say, "Hey, can you guys, pay for my golf fees?" So my wife's telling me, I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool." And my lucky, my wife's got two older brothers, so they all chip in to pay for my mother-in-law's golfing fees. So any of our beautiful mums and dads who are looking at retirement, you've got kids. This is a great time to ask them to pay for things. All right, the great about they are working. They're at the prime age of working. Pay for my goods and services and stuff like that. But if you look at the other three, right, how much will I need in retirement? Probably those figures give you a sense on how much you might need. And if that was only for a single person, imagine when you take a couple up. So if it was in the metro, you need about $1 million to sort of retire, to live or sustain the lifestyle that you might want to live. Stuff. And Rachel's like, giving me the eyes getting more stupid. I want to make that conversation in the car about the time that I might need to start sooner rather than later. It's a key thing. All right, fine. So KiwiSaver, we talk about retirement. We're going to talk about the KiwiSaver now. And what we're going to talk about KiwiSaver is pretty much what gets involved for KiwiSaver. One of the things I wanted to talk about was when I used to be a banker, I used to sell KiwiSaver when it first came out back in sort of came out in 07, but I became a banker in sort of that late 2010. But I used to show you the tell me the sales technique, and a lot of times I used to have a lot of uni students who come and see me, and with that I would take the opportunity to talk about KiwiSaver, but sell KiwiSaver to them. So this is how I would say, this is how I would do it. They come in, I'm like, "Hey, welcome, which bag, and let's do you want KiwiSaver?" 9 times I say, no, I don't want KiwiSaver. I don't want to explain KiwiSaver to you. Let's say you get $100 from your salary, and of that $100, you got to put 3% of that into KiwiSaver. Okay, what does that work out to be? Okay, 3% of $100 is $3. And then on top of that, your work's going to give you 3%. But just going to work, they're going to give me another 3%. That's another $3. And they're like, "Oh yeah, okay." But on top of that $3, then their work gives you, the government's going to give you some money. They're going to give you 50 cents out of every dollar that you put in up to a certain amount. So that $3 you'll put in, they're going to put in $1.50. So that $3 you've just put in from your own money is now turned into $7.50. So you got $3 of your own money, $3 from your work, and $1.50 from the government. So instantly you turn that $3 into $7.50. And then the question is like, "Oh, okay, so you want to sign that? I can get a sweet sign up." So that's how you have to found KiwiSaver. But the concept I want to give to you guys is that money you're putting in, extra money you're getting from your employer, extra money you're getting from the government, all goes into your KiwiSaver fund, which is important. I'm not sure what's just happened on the screen, but hopefully you can still see it. If you give me a thumbs up or just say yes in the chat, then you can still see the screen. It'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I used to sell KiwiSaver. That's how KiwiSaver, and the concept around what you're seeing on the screen is very much the same, right? So your contributions of 3%, which would be $3 plus employee contribution of. So often I tell my kids, right, "Hey, going to work, you get paid to go to work on top of getting your normal pay. You get extra pay for going to work, right? In another 3%. They're like, "Oh, cool, that's true." So my son, he's currently working, he's 17, so he's under 18. So legally, the company, he works at the supermarket, New World, so foodstuffs, they don't have to contribute 3%, but they do anyway. I think they do a blanket sort of contribution from all sides. So it's really cool for my son. He's under 18, he's not meant to, not obliged to get the 3% additional from the employer is getting it. And so I said to him, hey, that's awesome, son. And on top of that, he doesn't get the government contributions until he turns 18. So that will start as well. But one thing I do with this KiwiSaver is I manually transfer $20 into his KiwiSaver account every 4 months. So I do that with him and my older daughter. My oldest daughter is 20, but she's based in Australia. She's still got the KiwiSaver here. So I wanted to maximize the government contributions. So it works out to get the government contributions, which is about $521, you need to contribute, I think it's like $20 a week. So $24 a week as an automatic payment into a KiwiSaver should meet the requirement to get the free government contribution of $500. And if I bring it back to when, was it our lovely friend Albert Einstein said that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world, that is going to be such a cool thing. So hopefully my daughter, I'm not trying to touch her to come back home. So hopefully I can build a KiwiSaver up and say, sweetie, you need to come back home. Yeah, so you can use your KiwiSaver and stuff. So that's how I'm sort of helping and supporting my whānau, especially my kids, to just manually transferring a little bit of money into that. And one other thing I might share that with you guys previously and some other workshops, so you might get some repeated information, but gold information, I like to say. So we have this program at work at Westpac. We bring in youth who are 18 years old. We call it our high school program. So usually students and kids who might not be wanting to go to a uni, but they might not look at sort of finance as a bit of an industry to get into. So we bring them through to a contact center. So through that program, these 18-year-olds, they come in freshly new, they come on a salary like 56 grand. These young 18-year-olds never worked before, not doing uni, and just get straight into getting some pretty good salary. The funny thing is that we've done these workshops, and we've done a KiwiSaver workshop, so very similar to this, but catered to young people. And I said to the young people, hey, can you phone up? Let's have a look at our KiwiSavers. We all bring out the KiwiSavers, and then the young guy told them about it. Said, oh, what's it? Come over here, have a look at this. So he showed me his phone, and on his phone, all the transactions I could see, like 76 cents, I can see $1.20, I can see $2.10, $3.40. I'm saying, man, why are all these transactions here going into the KiwiSavers? I didn't like seeing the dollars and cents in my account, so I just manually transfer that into my KiwiSaver. I had to stop the class. I said, this is really cool behavior. I said, this is a great example of putting money away and not using it. And I had to stop the class, told everyone, and I said, into putting in 76 cents into his KiwiSaver now, he's only 18, he's my age at 40, that's 76 cents based on compound interest. And the returns and the funds that he's got might mean he'll end up with like $700 in those KiwiSaver. So hopefully that is a great example. With your KiwiSaver, if you wanted to sort of, might not be as drastic as each, right? Trying to transfer every little bit of dollars and cents, but maybe on a Sunday, you open up your account, you see maybe $23.40. That $3.40, you might want to transfer that and sweep that across into KiwiSaver. But again, it's those small amounts. Transferring small amounts into your KiwiSaver, which will then work over time. And again, finding out how long you have for that period. You know how I've got KiwiSaver fund there as well, so that's really important to make sure you understand which KiwiSaver fund you're in. Recently, we've released a media statement or article, and that article was about when COVID happened, right? A lot of people had knee-jerk reactions. They saw the KiwiSaver balances go down. When they saw KiwiSaver balances go down, what did they do? They got emotional, going, man, I'm losing money, I need to go. So what happens is that they told Westpac of our Westpac KiwiSaver members, we had 18,800 odd KiwiSaver members transfer their KiwiSaver balances from high growth funds or aggressive funds into conservative and balanced funds. And they're like, okay, cool, I just want to do that. But what happened, right, was that KiwiSaver, the market started to change and quickly bounced back. And so what happened was, of that 18,000, only a third transferred back and made it in time. But everyone else who hadn't had stayed in the consumer fund. So really, those who missed the train or missed the boat to get back into the high growth fund, crystallize your losses. They use that term in investing. So that's really important to think about, right? Try not to check the KiwiSaver balance every day, because it's a long-term investment, long-time thinking. You should always check it, but not every single day. You'll scare yourself, seeing your balance go up and down. I'll probably bring in Sam and Divya and ratio and stuff like that. But you know, maybe for you, Divya, when you got Q7, what was that experience like? Thinking about your contributions, your employees' contributions. Because you know, contributions you can go to 3, 4, 6, and 8, 10%. What were your thoughts on that?
So I think when I didn't start my music, my days ago, we have to do, I was quite young,
What a good
stand
man.
up, he's a big statement, so really grateful now when I'm looking at the balance. But initially he was putting in his contribution, so he put in $20 every pay or every fortnight or whatever. And that helped me out to start off with. So I think, yeah, that's a good way to get into it. But in terms of at the moment, now that I think about it, I'm on limited contribution, and that's not probably the place I need to be given my legal commitments at the moment. So yeah, I think I need to rethink changing that and upping it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think when I started with Westpac, I upped it 1%.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see, maybe another percent.
Yeah. Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
You don't have to go crazy, go sort of 10%, but just enough. Like I'm gonna say, when people start working, young people, when you start working and you start to, because usually you start to get pay rises, it's a good opportunity to maybe increase your contribution rate to Q7, maybe by 1%, because you're so used to living on the wage that you've been earning, a little pay increase, you put it away, put that into Q7. What are you saying? Q7?
I think since it came out,
I think the other day, it's for the future self. Something good to have in the future, your future self, future self will be thanking you. Absolutely. And for anyone else who's in the about Q7, is there anything that's been interesting reading with Q7, maybe mum, bring your own here?
I actually didn't join. No, interesting government, still don't.
Yes, yeah, fair enough, absolutely. And but hopefully through tonight you might see something that might interest
I
you.
work for Fonterra, so Fonterra had their own system. So Fonterra paid us $1.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, and we could choose a percentage, I think it was 6% or something.
Yeah.
And, yeah, just sit on it for 10 years.
And that's the one thing about some of the our big employers like Fonterra, you know, Westpac, we've got our own internal superannuation schemes, and those programs.
When you leave, they'll give you your lump sum, but they take 10% out and put it into Mercer. Because you're no longer employed by Fonterra, and 10% of your super goes onto Q7.
Your own Q7?
No, Mercer,
Yeah, that's fine.
when they use.
Yeah, interesting. So yeah, always important if you are working with some of those big organizations to understand, you know, what is a Q7 contribution rate look like. I remember up in Auckland, in the Ports of Auckland, one of their ways of trying to keep their staff is that if you put in 8% of your salary, or was it Ports of Auckland will match it, 8%. So that's pretty encouraging and you know, very attractive for some people to get involved. And we say we've got our own sort of internal one put in tandem, so you can contribute X amount to Q7 and then maintain a little bit of another percentage on top. Not always sure what that looks and sounds like, but hopefully maybe T and then in the future might be opening up some sort of products and services around Q7. No, there's I'm just thinking, just in case Tanya gets on the email going, hey, there's a Q7 stuff. Yeah, sorry, finally just double checking. No, there's no checking around it. But you never know, right? Things might have to change.
I hear Papai. And just a question for our whānau that aren't working and maybe receiving a benefit, is there an option to still participate in KiwiSaver? And how do they navigate that? And how would you recommend they choose on selecting a percentage of that they should contribute?
Yes, usually for part-time. And I think one way I would navigate around the response is that, you know, QSEL it's a vehicle, and an investment vehicle that can help and support you. So that example I talked about around the government contribution, as long as your works out to be about $24 a week, if you can put that away, you're going to be getting, you know, about $500 from the government every year. So that on top of that, what you put in, plus what the government puts in, is just extra money. Just getting extra money, just having extra money. And I think if those whānau who aren't working but want to get into KiwiSaver, you don't have to, there might not be a percentage that might work, as long as you really start to put $1, $2, as long as you're creating the habit and the behavior and putting money into that, because one thing is that you lock it away, because you won't be able to access it until you're 65, or when your retirement happens, or when you might want to buy your first home. Or the other third option with KiwiSaver with Jaws is if you find yourself in hardship. So if you find yourself in financial stress, you know, you can use KiwiSaver to do that as well. But from a savings perspective, if you want to encourage yourself or you find to get into savings, KiwiSaver is a good tool because your money gets locked away, right? You put in money and it gets locked away. But it's really important that when you put the money into it, you know what fund you're going to put into it. And Rachel will get you to click on to that little website. We've got a fund finder that I'll show on the screen. This one here, we're going to get Rachel to play some figures. And let's say, I'm not sure. So this one here, Sam can probably put in the chat function, and you're around and you put it into the chat. But this one here is on sorted, it's called the fund finder. So if you've got a fund and you sort of go, I don't know what my fund is it high growth, conservative, balanced, aggressive? And then, so let's just say, I'm not sure what type of fund I'm in. This one here, you're going to answer a couple of questions. And let's just use me as an example. I'm 40 years old, which I was 25, but never mind. And then I would like to retire at 65, yes, currently employed and earn, let's just say, very similar to the young ones, 6 grand, half grand. I wish. I put 6 grand there, and then because on average, I think the average salary in New Zealand at the moment, 2024 is about $53,000 and X month, not $100, but that should be a nice figure. We're next. And then this one here is going to ask questions around, I want to use my KiwiSaver money in. I'm not thinking long term here, fine. I won't be using it because I'm going to wait till I'm 65. Let's go 10 years or more. And this one here, a question here is around your comfort around how much money you want to gain and lose. So I'm a bit of a risk taker. I always love that saying, you've got to risk it to get the biscuit. That's my favorite saying. I want to get the biscuit. So this one here, I am, 30% loss, but 100% gain. I'm very keen on that as well. So if we go next. And this one here, a couple of questions here, the certainly ending up more than I put in, despite some ups and downs. So I'm going to be happy with what happens in the market over time when it goes up and down. So I'm going to say, I'm going to choose that as my option. But that option might be different for you, finally, when you do that. So we go next on that one. And it should hopefully bring us a couple ones on growth. Yep. Same with KiwiSaver balances. On average, I think they're about 25K now, KiwiSaver balances across the board. And then I say I do a minimum of 3%. My employer does say we expect to do 3%. We'll look at the results, and hopefully this gives you a bit of an idea of what sort of fund I might be in. And it's really telling me growth. We'll show you. And it shows you the fees. I think someone will talk about fees, maybe, but if you do, that should show up. All right, finally, so this gives you the whole avenue of all the funds that are out there, all provided. So you've got Simplicity, you've got a Vet now, Super Easy, BNZ. So the cool thing about Sorted, because they're non-biased, so it just puts all the KiwiSaver fund providers in there, and you can tell, right, based on the fees, based on the service levels and their returns. That's going to help you choose the growth fund, which provider will probably give you the best returns in that as well. So great tool to find out what fund you want to be in and stuff like that. But I just see there's a pipeline that's coming through. Sam, do you want to read that out?
Sorry, a big question. If you can't use your KiwiSaver under this, what if you don't make it to 65? And if you become 70, how does your EPA or whānau obtain your KiwiSaver?
Yes. So, great question, because reality is that sometimes, especially in Mauri, right, we don't end up getting to 83 years old, right? My father's an example for that. But what we want to do is your will. So you need to, father don't have a will. You're looking at getting a will. The will actually sort of stipulate what happens to your KiwiSaver. So within that will, you want to have instructions. The instructions are, X, I want my Q7 to be paid out to X amount of person, or to my wife, or to my kids, or evenly split across my mokopuna. So it's really important. The EPA will only get you so far in getting you evidence of the Q7 balances for that person, but it won't be strong enough to act on getting it so the will play a big part. And then if you don't have a will, what happens then we'll go to the deceased estate part of the bank, if it's with the bank or with one of these other specialized providers. And then what happens, they have some called probate. And usually if it's under 15 grand, the process to get access to those funds through probate is quite easy. If it's over 15 grand, it's a little bit tough, a little bit challenging, because then you've got to go through the court system. In the court system, you need to appoint a lawyer, and then go through all the process, and then again it becomes expensive. What will happen is they'll end up just taking X amount from your from wherever the funds are in that account once they settle everything and stuff like that. So really important finding the key thing there is probably make sure that you have a will in place or some form of a will in place. And a lot of them you can do some online that are free to do, but you just need to make sure it gets witnessed by a lawyer. For my team, anything you guys want to add on?
Now, the probate aspect is, can be a pain, can take a long time as well, and if there's a debate on family and it gets quite, it's disruptive, yes, and so ideally there's a lot of places that that's where it's going.
Yeah.
Also, I had an example recently where someone was told off from executing a will or probate because there was Q7 funds there, as an example, was also a business that business can get. And then not execute on probate to get the Q7 funds that go on track here. But point being is that they can sometimes get legally, it's not like a rule to dictate where exactly it's done.
Understand. So yeah, hopefully that helps answer that part-time, great part-time. But yeah, the key message there is to get a will. That will help sort of give those instructions of what you want to do there as well. So yeah, wonderful. Rex, there's another tab next to it. Is that it's the one right next to it? There's that. Yeah. Oh, it's the Q7 calculator. So if I wanted to show you a Q7 calculator, so this one here just to show you retirement and both keep and buying your first home. So this one here is that hey, you've got Q7, you might have a little amount in it, and you're ready to sort of figure out go my first home, or am I at that later stage and I want to retire. So let's go, let's take buying my first home. Let's focus with Tanya around getting our final into homes. So let's say, hey, I'm aiming to buy first home in, let's say 5 years. Let's say 5 years, might just hold my well. Yeah, we do want to go to. Let's meet that program target. Let's say 35. I think 35 is a nice sort of middle age number there. Okay. Oh, 360. Oh, now. All right, so we've got 35 currently employed and earning, let's say 56 grand a year as well. Okay. So finally, this is just going to help us sort of figure out how long and what we need to use those balances. So that's another question here. Let's say my current balance is, let's go a little bit more. I want to say maybe say 60 grand in there. Right. Nice. And this is just taking into account maybe you have your other partner might have 30, you have 30. And then let's say I've got a growth fund. So I've got a biscuit fund. And let's say contribute 3%. My employer does 3. Yep. Keep those at baseline. The results. All right. Okay, fine. So what this calculator shows is that, by the time, by 5 years, I'll have $93,729. We scroll down a bit, give a bit more detail on that. Okay, fine. So this one here in 5 years' time, you would have close to $93,000, or close to 94 if you round it to the next 1,000, right? To buy my first home. Once I've done that, because the other key thing is that a lot of people say, it's really strange that you use Q7 or to buy your first home and you're going to retire to. But the cool thing about this is that it shows you like when I buy my first home, and then by the time if I stay in how I am, I'm going to get 130 grand. I'm hoping that I'm not going to be earning 60 grand for the rest of the remaining of my working life. That goes up, so that figure will change, stuff like that. So what that works out to be is that I'll have about $124 a week after from 65 to 90. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Is it saying,
Like if you use 93,000 to buy your first home,
Yes.
you'll be carry
You
on.
carry on with it.
Okay, cool.
Yes, yeah, but bearing in mind that's the budget, my contribution at 3%, and also you've got paid 60 grand for many years. But as those increase, that will then lift, and then hopefully changes in the market might mean a better returns. But hopefully, I know this illustrates what you can do, right? Around, okay, what are my goals? Even if the goal was 10 years time, what am I going to do? What do I need? So really gives you a bit of an idea. And then, you know, I really want to touch on that $124, right, per week. You know, we're not sure if the super's going to be around. You know, in 25 years, I'm going to be 65, but I'm not sure. If super's going to be around. So I might have to, you know, lean on to my KiwiSaver to fund my lifestyle. Because at the moment, the super about $520 a week if you're single.
The pension,
The pension, yeah. Was it less than this?
400 and something. Not if you're in, don't own a home, which is, yeah, if you don't have asset.
yeah,
Yeah, like rent. And even, you know, even if you've got a funny freehold, you know, it's not a huge amount in today's, we look at today's cost of living.
Yeah.
You know, so for those whānau that are in a freehold property, they've got it a little bit easier, our kaumātua, but I definitely wouldn't say that they'd be living a life of luxury. You take in the fact that for a good proportion of our kaumātua aren't living in their own, or in their own homes, and they're paying market rent. It makes a significant difference that, you know, average one bedroom is $395. Yeah, so they'll get accommodation supplement, and some of those things, but they're generally, it's not, yeah.
So hopefully it brings into focus on some of the things you need to consider, think about how you might want to set things up. And hopefully use calculators, and we'll put it in the chat function, both for the fund finder and the KiwiSaver calculator. We'll find that and put that into the chat. And the other one next to it was compare KiwiSaver funds. So this one here, this is called Cancer. So Cancer is a independent business or online app, and actually this is where you can compare your funds to other funds. So just like sort of did, this will help compare, because usually a lot of products and services out there in the market, you say, I've got Cancer 5-star, usually it's based on they have independent people go in, test and check the product and service and rate it. So this is where you might want to check that. I think this one here, Rachel, can quickly pop in similar. Let's just go, yeah, say 60 grand on a KiwiSaver, and then let's say balance, you know, just for this illustration, go compare, and that should hopefully give us a comparison of KiwiSaver fund providers. So yeah, we've got Fisher funds, and some asking about Fisher funds. So you can see here, if you had a balanced fund provider, and you're looking at, is there another provider that adds a bit more? This is where you would find it. You know, BNZ seems to be the top, and this one here, as well as Booster coming in second, and then you've got Fisher funds coming in third. You got Milford as well. So you start to see those specialized fund providers start to perform better in these sort of categories compared to someone like BNZ and Westpac, because there's a whole lot of other moving parts in a bank compared to specialized one. All they do is focus on KiwiSaver. So finally, if you don't know who your KiwiSaver was with or what fund you're in, use these tools to guide you. Yeah. So yeah, anything in relation to what you've seen around the calculator, fund finder, and stuff?
oh, sorry, let me go to the top.
Yeah. Yes.
Annually.
Yeah. So finally, what is heard Divya just get a bit shocked at some of the fees, and we're just going to work out that and per month or week. So you can see with Booster, right, number 2, the annual fee to have with them, which is performing really well. They charge you $726 a year. So that's close to $1,000. So how much was it?
$14.
So $14 a week for them to actively look after your KiwiSaver. But then you're gonna, it's funny, right? Because you've got the social responsible balance fund. Because a lot of some of these investments are moving into social responsibility, ethical investing. So really important to think about that. But again, fees play a big part, right? Sometimes if you want to get the good returns, you've got to pay for it, right?
Well, if you look at BNZ and Booster, for example, 270 versus 726, and the return's not that different, right?
Yeah,
But it's because it's socially responsible.
Yeah.
Is that why?
Who knows? Who knows?
Add a couple of hundred on
Yeah.
it.
But then there's also. The balance fund for Fisher is 642, right? And it's the same, well, I don't know if it's the same, but I returned.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And one thing, when I was in my workshop today was, not always trusting the past results.
Yeah.
Past results don't always, investing to show what future results will look like.
Includes COVID as well.
Includes COVID, yeah,
Yeah.
we think about that period.
Where everyone withdrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully find that's a great tool for you to investigate. It's free, connections to, and again, just encourage you to think about it. Even after tonight, or even now, if you're online, you're checking what your KiwiSaver is, or what balance, or what fund it is. It's one thing I always think, it's not financial advice, is that if you're young, you've got such a longer time to work, right? So your work life's longer. What does that mean from what you should put your money into as a fund? Growth funds and aggressive funds will probably be one to consider. And again, I'm not giving financial advice, but if I was telling my younger self at 20, where should I be putting my KiwiSaver fund? I'm most likely be telling put into a growth fund, put into an aggressive fund. You got 20, 30 years of work life, you're going to be able to ride up and down the market as it goes up, as it goes down. And then hopefully by the end, when you look at retiring, you might change your strategy and maybe pull it away from aggressive and to balanced and conservative, but take advantage. Because one thing I did when I first got KiwiSaver was that I was that person and I said, I don't want my money to be lost. Be conservative or balanced. But one thing is if I knew what I know now, what I did when I was 20 or my early 20s, my KiwiSaver balance might be a lot different to what it is now.
Probably amazing. It
Oh,
doesn't exist.
I know, I wish.
You would
Yeah.
come up with the future.
Absolutely. So Whānau, hopefully this is, it's inspiring you to think about this differently, to maybe think about, giving it another second look in that space. And I'm just going to pop back to the slides. Tanya, how are we timing? Are we okay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, presentation move on there. Exactly. All right, Whānau, so really dive open. Speaking fresh now. We're a bit of a deep dive into KiwiSaver. Not a deep dive, I do apologize, Whānau. But a deep dive into KiwiSaver. And we continue the conversation. I want to ask any part-time in the chat or part-time here with us live that anyone wants to ask.
I've just noticed that the aggressive fund titles have a better return than the growth fund titles.
Oh, and it's easy to change, right? You genuinely, if you have a KiwiSaver and you want to change your fund from say balance to growth or aggressive, usually there's a function, just a drop box on your online thing. That's quite quick and easy to do. It usually takes a couple of days to get that done. Yeah, Olivia, Rach, anything from you guys?
Te Pātai, randomly out there. This is not about growing your KiwiSaver, but more around the fact of if whānau are needing to access their KiwiSaver for hardship, what is the process for that for whānau?
I can give you the view when I used to do it a couple of years ago. I know that it changed slightly, but one thing was that whānau, whoever would come and say, hey, I'm finding it tough, I can't pay my bills, I've got a loan that's due and I'm about 3 or 4 payments behind, what do I need to do? First of all, hey, you need to fill in this hardship form. So usually you'll get the hardship form, whether that be from any provider, KiwiSaver, whether it be like Bristol, Westpac, BNZ. You get this form, you'll fill it out, and the form literally is just like you're filling out an application form to do lending, because we really want to know your finances and what sort of state you're in. So we get you to fill in your name, address, and then we get you to know all your expenses. What are you paying out? And what are the current sort of debt you have, and where are they? What's the owing balance? And what's the owing loan amounts that you're in arrears or behind? Once we get all that information, we'll go through to our KiwiSaver team. We'll put an application through under your profile, and then you'll get flagged as a KiwiSaver hardship application. Gets put to our KiwiSaver team, and there's a specialized team in KiwiSaver, especially across the bank. They have a specialized team within the KiwiSaver team that deal with hardship. They'll get this application, and at the moment, there is thousands of being processed. And I was talking to a budgeting advisor the other week. We did a workshop, and she was actually she said that she would only have 2 a month, but now she's getting at least 1 or 2 a day. It's just showing how tough it is at the moment of economic environment. So you get this application, no doubt if you were to do it today or in this period now, the time to wait is a lot longer, and then they'll process it. And then the process is quite rigid, quite tough, and sometimes you feel like you're jumping through fiery hoops to get it approved. Something might come back, the Queensland team might come back to that lender or the banker like me and go, hey, what's up? There's something in the application that's missed. Can you go back here? And I have to go back, call the customer, hey, sorry, I need this more information. So that before you do that a couple of times, get all that done, they'll go through and then they'll get it approved. Usually when they get it approved, my understanding now is that before they would only pay the arrears. So they only pay the arrears and maybe 1 or 2 payments ahead of your loan. But now, when I was talking to the budgeting advisor or coach, she was talking about they actually can, some of the QC balance can be used to pay off the owing balance that is for your lending. So that's really good to hear. That wasn't the case when I was doing hardship, but nowadays it seems like you can, which is great. So you find yourself in trouble and you're like, man, I really just want to stick on. To make it less stress, less anxiety around it, let's do that. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea around that. The process is long, a little bit tricky. And I've got to be honest, you're going to feel like you're jumping through fiery hoops to get approval, even though you're looking at that's my money, it's my QServer. I can see it, why can't I access it? But there's so much process that needs to be done beforehand to access it. And then it takes a little while to get those funds out of that QServer because it's held with, so it's held with the fund manager, but actually we've got the IOD that control and distribute all those amounts. So we have to go through all these people to get the process. Yeah. Really helps. Anything else from WH or Sam from the experience?
No, you've covered it all. I've just got that page here actually, but eligible for significant financial hardship is take a household, minimum living expenses, food, power, water bills, pay a mortgage, rental, board payments, pay the cost of modifying residence and special needs, rising middle attendance disabilities, funeral costs, treatment, for dependent, or something that you require.
Balance of care.
And then you've covered off the loan payments, so it's any one of those criteria is told, but then you've got further in the application.
And what Sam will do is just looking at it online, he'll copy and paste that PDF form, we'll pop it in the chat. So if you wanted to see what a form, a hardship form looks like, some of the questions they'll ask you, a wonderful form that Sam will put in, will actually show you. It'll be very similar, not exactly the same as across all the providers, but very similar in nature. The principle of all those questions in that space. All right, Whānau, we're going to be powering through because this one here is that we've got a quiz. So we're going to play a little bit of a quiz. I think we'll try to finish off with a quiz, and I'll probably get ready to click the button. So I feel like, oh yes.
There is a photo in the chat that I just saw pop up.
Yeah.
About if you're a current KiwiSaver member and you go overseas, what happens to your funds?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
what happens to your funds? Great question. From my previous experience around KiwiSaver, is that your KiwiSaver? I use my daughter, right? My daughter's KiwiSaver it's just sitting there, and it's just sitting there. I'm just manually transferring money into a KiwiSaver every fortnight, and it just sits there. And she currently has it in a broke fund. I think she. I'm just trying to think if she's got to put herself on just like a contribution suspension. And I hope she has, because you can do them every year, so you can apply to have it suspended so you do contribute. But also, if you want to access your KiwiSaver the other way, like if you left overseas and you weren't coming back to New Zealand, and you're like, hey, I'm not coming back to New Zealand, the way you can access the KiwiSaver funds, if you go to Australia, then you can't access it as cash, it has to go into Australian super. So if you are going to Australian neighbours, if you are sending your KiwiSaver, it has to go into an Australian super. But you have to be away from New Zealand for 2 years, and you have to confirm that you got a boarding pass and address confirmation where you live now. So those are the 2 requirements to get access to your KiwiSaver fund. If you're going outside of Australia to anywhere else across the world, you can get your KiwiSaver balance or your KiwiSaver back as cash. What that means though is that you'll get your contributions, you'll get the interest that you would have earned for that period, but any government contributions, they go back to the Crown. And if you had the $1,000 kickstart, that goes back to the Crown and back to the government. And I'm not too sure, hopefully Sam can find out for me quickly if the employers' contributions get paid over. I'm pretty sure you get your employers' contribution, your contributions, any interest returns that you would have earned, but not the government, any of the government contributions, like that $520. That's just. But then again, confirm you've been away for 2 years, you got your boarding pass and your address confirmation that you can access. And then they'll send it to you as cash. You send it along, got your bank account details, send it through to the provider. But great question, great part-time around what happens if you do move overseas.
Sorry.
Another part-time, yeah, great. Keep those part-time coming through, whānau. Okay.
Opt out of KiwiSaver when changing employment.
So if you want to opt out of KiwiSaver and you move to another job,
Yes.
and you want to opt out of KiwiSaver, how would you go about doing that? Is that the question?
Or is it around withdrawal? Can
Or
you withdraw?
withdrawing money? Withdrawing money, I don't think. Yeah, it'd have to be under hardship to be able to.
Yeah, so under hardship, you can withdraw, but if you're switching employers, what happens is your employer is like, you keep saying, well, you get eyes, B and Z, they'll go, okay, cool, they'll say B and Z, and then they'll get sent away. But in the background, if you've got your stuff on a suspension contribution, before the term they used was savings contribution holiday. So they moved away from saying contribution holiday because it made people feel like, oh, cool, I'm just going on holiday. No worries, go on holiday for 5 years, not putting any money to the queue. So they changed the word to contribution. Contribution? No.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, something along the lines of suspension. I mean, you can renew it every year in that space. Well, yeah. So, but yeah, that answers that part time. Hopefully, for you. So, anything else, team? You want to add on?
Yes, so I took a 5-year holiday.
Yeah.
But when I changed from 40 years, yes, well, you have to come back in.
Yeah, it automatically puts it back in,
Yeah. And usually what happens when you change employers, you fill in the forms, there's a form that I need called the KS2 form. Usually when you fill out this KS2 form, it just means it's automatic. It just means like a form says, hey, it's a money issue, right? Until they give you something off you go, but then you go through the process that is suspended. Yeah, nice, awesome. All right, team, so we're going to go through this quiz now. So we've got a quiz. 10 or so questions, and Rachel's just going to push the button for me there. So the first question is, we're going to go straight into the quiz final. I'm going to pretend that it's not like the chase here. The question number 1, you can only join Q7 if you have a job.
No, false.
False. Nothing easy, right? Let's start quick and easy, and the answer will be false. Yes, you can be employed, self-employed, not working, or under 18. So a lot of, I remember when selling Q7, a lot of grandparents for the vocals, but now a little bit challenging now because you're going to have to get a photo ID or more for your address confirmation to open up. So you just get on the data. The other option is that you can maybe open a shared leave account. So shared leave to one where you can open it for someone that you love. Question number 2. This one here is number 2. You must be under the age of 65 to join KiwiSaver.
Yes. True.
Okay, sure. What's coming? Pop it in the chat below if you want to hear your responses and answers there as well. And Rachel's going to give us the answer. What is that?
Oh, false.
Oh, the rule changed, the rule changed in 2019 as well. So this one here, it means that after 65, you still want to invest, you've got some money, tuck it in KiwiSaver.
You don't have money.
So I'm trying to get you guys into the behaviors. All right, final number 3. This one here is eligible members receive government contributions every year. True or false?
True. Eligible.
Oh, that word.
True.
True. Still on true. A couple of falses. True. We've got more truths. Okay. And the answer is Rich.
False.
You never know, so So every eligible members, every $1 we contribute to government match, you know how I talked about that 50 cents, right? So previously before the government, they initially brought it up, the dollar for dollar. So you used to get 1,042 in the use every year. Pretty amazing, right? But now that's halved, that's $521.43. But here, this one here, you need to be contributing, 3% and earning more than 35 grand. So there are some criteria around that as well. To be automatically contributing enough. So that's usually the figure, but it's about $24 a week. If you think about it, you're doing it manually, and you've got to do that before, I think it's the 30th of June is the end date that you need to do it. Question number 4. Most employers have to make a contribution of 3% to use it. True or false?
False.
False.
Yeah.
True.
All right. One false, couple of truths, and the answer is
We've got a true on the chat.
true. True.
Nice.
Why most employers? Shouldn't it be all employers? Why, what's exempt?
Not only the exempt employers, but some employers can be exempted from sort of giving. So, self-employed, like I think if they're off the top of my head.
You're just opting out to.
Okay, so this one here, some employees may contribute more and some may contribute to a different superannuation scheme. Very similar to on Sarah, we talk about which bank, other big employers that might contribute more, like 40%, and then so question number 5. Talk about the whānau. This one here, thank you for those coming into the chat. I love that. You must be a New Zealand citizen to join the future.
Very good.
True, yeah.
Sounds like a real resounding true, and the answer is.
Bye.
Got you, whānau. All right, so this one here, any New Zealand citizen or permanent resident can join. This includes Australian citizens and people who have either a New Zealand or Australian resident. Pretty cool that if you're Australian, you come here and get a lot of benefits. When we go to Australia,
We get nothing.
It's a citizens to us.
all right, hey, this is being recorded now. Love Australia. Okay, number 6. This one here, whānau, is you must contribute at least 2% of your before tax salary to wages to Q7 account.
Oh,
True.
Yes.
Okay, the picture here, and the answer is false. So the minimum default contribution is 3%, or you can choose to contribute 4, 6, 8, or 10%. For any whānau who might be living at home, if you've got kids, mum and dads have got kids who are living at home and say, I'm going to buy my own home. Like, well, for your girl, you're going to be putting 10% of your salary into your KiwiSaver. Because I want to make sure you get to your savings goal faster. You get out of the fight, But anyway, hopefully, it just gives you an option to think about that around giving a break. And number 7, they range, I think. Number 7, you could be eligible to withdraw most of your KiwiSaver funds to help you buy your first home. True. That is certainly true. And as mentioned before, yeah, you can use your KiwiSaver to buy your first home, but you must leave $1,000 in your KiwiSaver. So originally when KiwiSaver started, you had to kick-started with $1,000, and you have to be a contributing member for 3 years as a minimum. And before they used to government was it at the first home, you contributed again like up to $5 grand. That's not wrong. But some of those things just give you a thing to think about, when things are up on the government, they're optional, just get involved, maximize it as much as you can when they're ready available. Number 8.
Sorry, I've got a question. Please. When you're 65 and you turn 65, you've got access to it all. You don't need to leave X amount in there.
So if you're 65.
Yeah, you have access to your full fees now. You don't need to leave nothing out.
So usually when you turn 65, and any whānau who might be like my mum, she turned 65, and she did the massive journey to for some reason my mum had one for Q7 some weird independent company. It's really South Auckland, but the Q7 company lived in North Shore, so she had to catch 2 buses and then take the taxi to the place. And it's only the manual document to say, I want my Q7 money up, transfer it there. And she got the 2 buses back and forth, and then my mum got a Q7 better. Mum, do you need to give me Q7? She just told me, yeah, give my Q7. Yes, we have but the key thing is that, you're winning 265, you have an option. And some of those options can be go and get it all up, or you can say to the provider, can you give me half of it now? Because you might have something else, you might have a house, kids supporting you, they might not need to access all your Q7, might be okay keeping half of that in there. Or some providers might be able to give it to you at the table, say, hey, can you pay me out X amount over the next, every fortnight for the next 4 years, and you've got to pay that out to like that as well. So that it turns into like a form of income. But again, it's still bringing some interest, but you're not spending it straight away, right? So you've got all those reasons. Great question.
Does it get taxed if you use?
Yes, yeah, because you get it out, put it into a savings account, and then savings account gets taxed.
Interest on it is taxed.
Interest gets taxed, which would be, so then, actually, we'll take the most likely be more tax. It's quite hard, so, but when you then get taxed, the big part of tax. Everything we do find it was tax. But, again, number 8, this one here, whānau, is Q7 members may be eligible for a grant to buy their first home. I do apologize, that one, no, we're just gonna cross over. I need to update the slide, please. Yeah. So I'm glad this is being recorded. Can we just cut that one out? Number 9, whānau, in limited circumstances, you may be able to withdraw Q7 fund before you reach your age of retirement. We talked about this. The answer is true, and that is regards to tax and buying first home.
Oh, sorry. Not to be taxed, but say that withdrawals from the scheme are untaxed.
Okay.
The interest will be.
Under the bed.
Yeah, sorry, whānau, you can't get into the bank market, you know, there's countries that have no tax stuff. And I think we've got the wrong more question, the last and final question, thanks for those popping it in the chat. Number 10, you can take a savings suspension. There are institute savings suspension from Q7 for a maximum of 5 years. Is that true or false?
True.
False. Okay. We've got some robust conversation happening here in Mauri, and the answer is. So from 1 April 2019, Q7 members who made contributions. Every year, and then 12 months, and then savings, and then which have been renewed that needed. And I think we've got a few laughing emojis coming in the chat. Okay, final. We're going to move through to the next slide, and I think that probably brings us. Cool. So we've only got a couple more slides left, and what this illustration shows is that for this example, everyone here is 35. And they're all earning minimum. Say the age I had here is 40 grand per annum, and this one here just shows the contribution. They're to contribute at 3%, at 4%, at 6%, at 8%, at 10%. All those individuals there, and this one here shows that taxation at 3%. Based on that, 35 to 65, you'll have about 155 grand if you keep that 3% contribution level. But as you can see, right, as you go up to 4, 6, 8, I want to jump straight to number 10 or 10%, which is Riley. Riley will have about 321,000. So you can see the big dollar difference, right? When you're putting in more into Q7, it gets more, it grows more. And the key thing I'm trying to illustrate here is that if you can and you're able to in your budget to increase your contribution level, then you can. That's where I'm saying that finally, if you've got kids at home, this is what happens, right? They tell them put 10%. If they're not paying any more, they're not.
We do that without this, if they don't pay all these salary sacrifice, they should go like 100 a week from their wages into their QC.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Hopefully now it means more. I've seen the.
Because they can see it growing.
Yeah,
They're actually doing it that way.
So, Whānau, if you like that example, what was it? Salary sacrifice. Salary sacrifice, get them to put in, you say, hey, give me X amount, it's not going to pay for it, I'm going to put it to Q7. You put it into, it just shows, right, the proof is in the pudding here. But again, this might fluctuate. Again, this was a perfect world where there was no bumps or stops. Because if you're female, especially today, we talk about the gender savings gap to men and women. Well, that's true because women tend to take time off work, or they they might do part time, which means they can't contribute as like men. Men just keep going, right? And stuff like that. So what we want to make sure is that
But we live longer.
and you've got yes, talking about equipment is beautiful wine. So it's really important to think about, what the illustration shows that you can save more, you earn more, you have more, which means you have more options, you can have more of your whānau, and you can live the lifestyle in retirement that you want for yourself and your more as well. And then we're going to the next one is that it's never too late. Never too late to join Q7. For this example here, if you're not in Q7, that's okay. This one here just shows that out of the 50, and even the sort of wage at the moment, average wage was about 53 grand a year. For New Zealand, this one is earning 50, but this one here, they contribute 8%. And why we say 8%? Because at 50, your expenses should hopefully be a lot less, right? Hopefully you might have your home loans come down, your kids are now well grown, and that sort of jazz. Anything else you might be doing costs a lot less. So hopefully you can put 8% on your salary into a Q7. So by the time you hit 65, which is 15 years, you have about 127 grand. Now, 127 grand is pretty still good money, right? It's 100 grand. Usually 100 grand savings tends to make a lot more money faster than 50 grand. So usually having 100 grand in any form of investments, especially like a Q7, that starts to generate more returns. That compound interest, remember? Albert Einstein said compound interest, be the eighth one that will do. But hopefully this illustrates again, whānau, whether you're young, whether you're at a later stage, having Q7 or putting money into it can help accelerate, give you another option. And today I was challenged, our speaker was challenged around whānau. We talked about those figures, about that 500,000 you'll need or $1 million you'll need to fund your retirement before you retire, when you retire in retirement age. They challenge saying, well, Q7 is not going to really give you that much. Honest truth is probably not. Q7 might not give you that type, like the biggest example we had before, the 300K. Well, that's what you need to start thinking about. What else can I do? Well, what other investments can I think of? And the ones I think of instantly, like Sharesies, those sort of platforms like Sharesies, Kernel, those online platforms that can generate wealth, where you can jump onto invest in shares, which can accelerate your investment returns. Those are some of the next sort of options. Because what happens, I've seen it in the past when I used to work in a part of Auckland that had a lot of elderly Pākehā and Asian people. So the funny thing was they were always sort of asset rich, had lots of houses and all those other things, but cash poor, because they invested all their money into buying houses and stuff like that. And that tends to happen right as we get older. We become asset rich but cash poor. But what you want to do is flip that and go, okay, like invest some of my money into cash, like savings and investments and term deposits. Those things should hopefully balance out with Q7. With Q7, I say $200,000. You might have after like a house that's all paid off. You might want to sell and downsize. So you might have another 200K there, add that in, go live with your kids, and you've got 400K cash. They're like, oh, mom, dad's going to got 400K cash. And whatever. And then you've got maybe some other investments like people do that. But again, see, so wealthy people, they often have different streams of income. That's how wealthy people work, right, and how they operate. They just don't have their one income coming from their salary. They've got investments, they've got other things, assets generating money. What do you say, Jack? Hang on. What do I do? That's interesting, right? Cryptocurrency is another form of investment that is, the best way you can say is very volatile. A lot of the banks are still scared. So I use the term scared. We're still a bit wary of cryptocurrency because cryptocurrency doesn't have all the checks and balances like money does. It's high risk. Because with money, right? They go $750. It's not government. It's not government control. There's no hence why those sort of big organizations are like, let's step away from them. But great questions to raise. But if you understand it and know it, that's good. I know some people have been very successful with cryptocurrency, so really important to think of that.
You'd like to say that it's as volatile as giving Sam $50.
Right, it could be a volatile. It could sound like $50 and people have to see that they're bucks. Because I think Bitcoin, yeah, but I think one Bitcoin is worth, is it like
Lots of money.
30,000 US dollars, which is pretty crazy. Now, I was listening to a podcast before, but there's only a finite number of dollars that Bitcoin can make. And I think it can make 23 million Bitcoins or something like that, something silly like that. But they've only got 3 million like made or something like that. So there's some sort of formula. And the person who made it was this random person forgotten the name, but the person made it, generated it, put it out there, and everyone's using it, but no one knows what happens because, like Mum said, no one knows the government, you can't track it, you don't know where it's going.
That printing money.
Yeah. Different organizations, sometimes dark organizations can use them, right, to fund war and all this sort of thing. So, but anyway, getting into a bit of come back and ask. Some good questions for some. I was going to say, I'm having to give in. So that one, yeah. So again, it's never too late to jump into it. Using part-time, is it part-time?
When I'm 65 and want to withdraw my KiwiSaver, will I be charged tax on what I've saved? Great question.
Again, yeah. When I'm 65.
Yeah, so that's what we found out, no?
No, when you fill it out, you won't get taxed, but when you put into it,
Interest gets taxed.
yeah, so the interest will get taxed. So if you transfer it, whatever your balance of Q7 is, say it's 100 grand, you put it into a savings account, say, well, I want to say BNZ, put it with BNZ. Let's say this back and say BNZ. But it's the thing, you put it to BNZ, you've got 100 grand, and the interest that's earning on that 100 grand, you got it, that's getting charged. Tax on that interest. So withholding tax, but then withholding tax depends on your income level. So potentially, if you're still earning, say you're still working, and you may be getting taxed at 30%, you might want to sort of put it into a pie fund. Usually those pie fund accounts, they get charged at the company tax rate, which is 28%. So you can reduce your level of tax on that and stuff.
Can you withdraw your KiwiSaver at 65 while you're still working?
Yes, yeah.
Was that one of your questions before?
Might have been,
Oh,
yeah. No, so if you're 65, when most likely you'll probably also be working. So if you are going to be still working at 65, you want to actually get that much to a one funding. Yeah. So very much so. And then we're going on to the next slide. How can I pick the right KiwiSaver fund? Then pretty much will pop on screen the bullet points that I have. But very much so is that the put in the chat function is those illustration tools that Rachel and I showed around what fund, whether it be sorted website or whether it be a cancer one. Before that's going to be shown on screen is understanding your level of risk and your time frame. And so often in investing they say your time horizon. And literally what time horizon means is how long before you need to access that money. And stuff like that. And the next couple ones that will come through on there is what are the fees. But again, those ones whānau is what are the fees, ease of use, past results, and we saw from those examples, right? How much yeah, 5-star, how much they charge you per fee each year, and you want to make sure that the value that you get for that fee is the returns that you're happy with, right? If you're happy with paying $700 a year and then returning you good funds, good returns, that's good. But if you balance that out versus BNZ at $270, you're like, oh, hang on, you're charging less, but sort of 30% similar return. So again, just weighing up your options, finding because you've got to do a little bit of research. It doesn't just happen overnight. You just got to make sure you understand, look and be through what it looks like. And I think the next slide was just showing that fund finder that we were reviewing before. So again, whānau, if you need one, someone pop it in the chat for Rach, Sam, what's anything around that previous slide around they're choosing the right user fund and what the journey's been like for you guys?
What's changed my fund actually based on the. Yeah, before. So I changed it to the aggressive growth of the final term.
Yeah, there we go.
So yeah.
Well, I know you had bankers change their fund through this workshop. So hopefully for our whānau who are watching and listening, maybe doing and that's how easy it is, right? They've just gone on, clicked it, and changed their fund from what they're but again, we're not financial advice. Very important, not financial advice, but use those tools to make an informed decision. But again, I encourage you to find out if you have kids, have KiwiSaver, they start putting a little bit of money into it and stuff like that. The salary set, yes, I love that too. One I've used now, but certainly maybe encourage them, right? They need $24 was the weekly amount that you need to make sure you get that government contribution and stuff like that. And I think the last one is probably wrapping things up.
Thank you.
It is. Hey, of course. feel like Japanese are definitely. Arigato gozaimasu. Beautiful place, and I just want to say thank you to Lynn, to Lisa, for your beautiful hospitality and invitation here, and your beautiful Mauri here, and particularly so on behalf of Rachel, Sam, and just want to being here, and for those who are being here for a lot of the workshops and some of the learnings that we've heard, having pulled it all in your time. Great to hear some of the learning. So in the chat function, if you want to comment anything that you've learned over the last couple of workshops, would be great. From that, hand over to today to say our Indian karakia, or sorry, Indian hapū. Any thoughts, views, opinions on tonight? Or can you say one?
I think, a couple of years ago, for everyone who comes to it, I got a call during COVID from ASC, who was my other bank. Sorry, sorry. They just talked through within 10 minutes what the, if you don't know where to start, I think calling your bank might be a bit accurate as well. And they talk you through the 4 or 5 different options. And if you say your goal is to buy a house or your goal is retirement, it kind of point you into the right direction when you that's how I changed to the growth fund. And that was the right place to be in for buying a house. But yeah, and also it's always good to get advice from today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I encourage you, whānau, get your advice, talk to your bank, or talk to your provider. I know some of our whānau had a question around, what was our thoughts around Fisher funds? It's not about me to sort of weigh up good or bad, but actually it's about, hey, those fund providers like Booster, Fisher Funds, Milford Assets, their focus is totally on KiwiSaver, so they can generate a lot of good returns or better returns than the bank. If you think about the bank, right? Such a big beast, and with the bank we can only X amount. So, weighing up those options and again using that fund finder to exactly find out what those fees are and stuff like that.
But there was a 2 years, just in terms of retirement and extra income. I know there's other funds. It's the night I heard for whānau, which my kids are in, and they match. If I put $50 in, they'll put $200 in, which is pretty money, which is good. So finding other funds like that for kids. Also, is that QR thing?
Oh, is that all we can?
That's
okay, apologies. I'll probably get reached to copy and paste it from the slide back in the chat.
Oh, yes.
Did you find, sorry, the QR code? I think they might have killed it because I think there's a new QR code stuff. But
So am I going to be able to get from you?
The link there as well.
Oh, the link.
Was it E2 or I really enjoyed all the sessions are cool and all provided so helpful for the challenging times right now. All the best. Yeah, and finally, you would agree that OCR, again, I got to go last to them, they have up by 50 points. So we've gone from 5.5 as an OCR rate down to 4.75. I know ASB were the past couple of months, they were reduced some of their fixed interest rates on home loans, and not long us other big banks probably follow suit. We're going to be conservative. We'll look to everyone else. It makes you and then we'll make a move with fixed interest rates. But I know our floating rates have come down just very quickly as well. So that's a really good thing. So hopefully that's a bit of confidence. I think a lot of economists were saying 25 basis points was the key goal. They did sort of say maybe 50 and the 50 because you know what? I think the Reserve Bank has seen that the impact of the high interest rates is really strong, right? Business investment is low, business confidence is low. Both as us personally, as retail consumers, we're not spending on financials and data. We can do that. Yeah, true. Stuff like that. So hopefully by Christmas, there's one more announcement in November. Hopefully we get another cut in November. Hopefully they'll set us up nicely for Christmas in 2025. Yeah, but hopefully Tanya and I connect again with today. We'll sort of see what the future holds for TNN and some future financial literacy workshops. And it's been amazing. I've enjoyed connecting with you all, whānau, and seeing your journey. And hopefully it's been helpful in whatever shape or way. Stuff like that. But I'm going to stop calling them because you can tell I love talking and chatting. I might pass over to Tans if you want to. Anything you want to No, okay. Karakia, so. All right, fine. We're going to do a karakia and we'll close up.
Tatuku ngā mo whakamiha ki a koe Sam, e tira ko Waza Revere, e kia ki tā whākami. Ko tira ki whānau, ko hono mai ki te ki aora mō te kaupapa nei, ki runga huipoka, ki roko ki te whare o te whaiora, tēnā koutou. Hoki, me whiri ki ngā tukunga ki te paipara o ngā whaiora, hei harataki i a tātou hoki, tēnā koutou. Me whakakapi i roto i te karakia, me karakia tātou. Inuhia, te uri tapu tāna, te wātea, kia māma, te mātou, te waiua, te tinana, te arata. Ko ia rai no mō whakeria, ko tēnā kia wātea, ai ngā ko wātea, au me hui e.
Tai ki e.